Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another session with me, to Real Talk with Ntabi. If it's your first time on my platform, my name is Ntabi, and this is a Real Talk with Ntabi coming live on YouTube and on Digital Boss private group on Facebook, and of course my personal Facebook page, Lebogang Ntabi Mokgosi. So it's quite an honor to really be speaking to you at this very moment. And I think the first thing that I want to do, I just want to acknowledge Tshwane University of Technology for the opportunity that they gave me to really be a part of this amazing panel here that you can see. So I was live with the panelists a couple of minutes ago. So as you can see, it started at 1:30 until 3 p.m. So this is 5 minutes later after we were done. But I just thought I should jump in here and really share a little bit of, the engagements that we had, and to somehow also explain, the entrepreneurship part of reimagining entrepreneurship post COVID-19. So I think I wouldn't be doing any justice if I don't stress it out, because I think it's really an important matter, and it's something that each and every one of us needs to really take into account. So that's something that I wish for everyone to really make note of. But of course, not everyone is an entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Excuse me. But the truth is, we have aspiring entrepreneurs. We have people in business, and something about entrepreneurship, guys, is it does not only affect people that are entrepreneurs, or it doesn't affect someone who's in business or who has a business or who has built or is building a business. It basically affects everyone. Now, before I start, I think the fact that this conversation was with university, and we think of youth-driven business, like this is basically how the youth gets to drive their businesses to another level. This is basically how youth can really develop themselves in terms of for their future business, for future business opportunities and all of that. Now, I firstly want to say this, and I think we all know, or we all have an idea what basically entrepreneurship is. And if you don't have an idea, so entrepreneurship or being an entrepreneur is basically creating a business or businesses with obviously the aim to scale them to a level where you get to make them profitable. So it's not just about you just having a business, but there's a goal when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And also, not only that, there's a problem that you identify that you feel you can solve, not just for you as a business, but for your clientele, for your customers. All right. As usual, I have my coffee. Second cup. A young one is my sister, Stando Mokhosi. Follow her on Facebook. And on Instagram is Kana Ulerato Manko Instagram. Lerato87. I don't know why she called herself Lerato87 on Instagram, but yeah, that's my sister out there. Thank you so much for joining. Blind guy, his wife, they're live. Let's see the comment right there. Scaling business is good to understand for long-term success. Most definitely, because especially when you think about entrepreneurship, obviously you would want to really scale your business and somehow see the future that it can bring. And especially if maybe you are that person who aims to be like a serial entrepreneur, who would have businesses and sell them and all of those things. So it is quite important, and it deals a lot with what you invest in. So investment is another big factor on that, because if you're investing in a business, if you're investing in a project, is it something that will grow in the long term, or is just going to be stagnant? All right. Anyway, as I explained what basically entrepreneurship is, Like I said, the fact that this conversation I was having it with like a high institution, which is TUT. When we think about entrepreneurship in high institutions, I think what my view is in terms of the entrepreneurship from the young generation that comes from universities and everything. I feel like higher educations have a huge responsibility, and a huge responsibility in making sure that they reshape the way of teaching learners and building their future and preparing them for this world of business and entrepreneurship. And this is really a huge task. At the same time, is not that huge. But what I'm saying is that with entrepreneurship, obviously there can be a cost on entrepreneurship on its own, but we also need to understand that on amongst every other cost, like whether it's a cost on IT, a cost on humanities, a cost on public relations, there has to be an element of entrepreneurship. There has to be an element that prepares an entrepreneur, or that prepares a student or the youth or someone who has a business mindset, prepare them to really know how they can scale, or how they can somehow see value or have build ideas, business ideas within that platform or within that qualification or the course that they're doing. All right. So it means that the high institutions have a huge role to play. So in this case, I can also point out that Tshwane University of Technology has, obviously, it's a technical university, and it has done a lot of projects with students, which I have seen myself. And having said that, because we are reimagining entrepreneurship post the pandemic, there are so many changes, how things used to be done. And I would like to believe that at this very moment, most individuals, most institutions have adapted to how things are working now, digitalizing most of the things, making sure that students have more access digitally, lectures being conducted in a digital way, and all of that. And not just that, even conversations around how one can benefit or how they can grow themselves even through the crisis of life, the crisis of this pandemic, the crisis of just about anything that happens in the world. Now, I want to speak about this point. Alaquita say, you say you are on your second cup of coffee. I need to get my first. Darling, I'm on my first cup of coffee. This is my first cup of coffee. No, my second rather. My bad. I digress. Yeah, that was my first. That is my second rather. Now, embracing change. I want to speak about embracing change when it comes to reshaping entrepreneurship. And what I mean by this, as an entrepreneur myself, I got to really think of a value that I can give to my clients as an entrepreneur, or my potential clients. And what I did was I think, when was that? I think a couple of months after the pandemic hit, I think we were on level 5 or something like that, or level 2. I don't remember which level it was. It wasn't level 5. I think it was level 2 or something like that. I don't remember. But I remember thinking of a way to really add value and to really help my clients, to really help them in terms of their business, and to give them value as to how they can go about things. Because a lot of people were just in a position of not knowing how they can start or how they can reshape their business model, because you had that lady who was selling whatever in a corner somewhere, and that's how they made money. But now we are not supposed to be outside. You had someone who has a shop that was open somewhere. They'll have to physically go there. But that needed to close. And then you have someone who sells clothes or whatever at some mall just by that corner somewhere there. And unfortunately, we could not really have shops open. So vendors were affected a little bit more, but also even businesses that have physical shops were affected. Now, this was an issue of, okay, how can we think of better ways? I mean, a lot of people didn't understand the digital aspect of things. They didn't understand how digital can really benefit your business. And not because they don't know what this digital is. They've been seeing it. They've been seeing it. They've done websites. I had clients that have done websites with me, but after doing those websites, it's like they just give you ownership. That Intabi, please design a website for me. This is what I want you to do. Do it. And after doing that, if they after concluding that no, we are happy with the website, that is it, and then they are gone, and they'll come back to you if maybe they want to make a change or whatever. Now I had to really look into changing that, because businesses also are responsible to know what happens in just about everything that we're offering as entrepreneurs, and individuals need to take part. So this is what we call agile methodology, where you always involve a client as to how you do things, what are you doing, how is this done, what is needed, and all that shebang. Okay, so that is really important. So when you embrace change, you take your audience with you, take your listen to me saying audience, you take your clients with you, you take your potential clients with you by allowing them to know exactly what happens in this whole thing. All right, I think we have a question, or is it most things now have a hybrid model, so that there is an in-person optional or virtual option. Was that a part of the youth conversation today? um no, the conversation for today was how we can reimagine, entrepreneurship in general, post the pandemic. Um, so yes, the hybrid model, I feel like it was partially a part of that, but I think it's a bigger picture, not just digitally, or how functions can be operated in an easier way, but also an issue of what is changing. How can we look at a picture, whatever that is happening now, if tomorrow we know that COVID is gone, what's going to be happening to the businesses? Are they going to still remain the same? Are they going back to the way things were before? What's happening? Now, this also brings me to the conversation of entrepreneurship crisis, because we know that in entrepreneurship, there's always crisis. Like, there'll always be crisis. There'll always be a crisis. It can be a crisis with the suppliers, crisis with the clients, crisis with whatever, crisis with the pandemic, which is the main thing at this very moment. But now the main question is, how do we manage crisis? How do we manage crisis? Because we are not saying we want crisis, or we want to accept that crisis is coming our way and all of that, but it's a question of how do we manage it? Because now, if this is the case, we are reimagining, right? We are reimagining this post-COVID, and the fact that there's COVID, there could be something different next time. How do we manage it and still grow, and still look into growing our businesses and all of that? Now, you're probably asking yourself now, entrepreneurship crisis, or the risks that are there. What are those risks? I'm going to tell you now. Kids are crying outside, but we move, we work, we gotta do what we gotta do, unfortunately. And if I can just digress a little bit, one of the things about working from the comfort of your own home, or just having a building office in your home, the challenge is that you can't avoid situations like your neighbor they're talking outside, or the baby is crying, or people are playing music. You really can't control that. So it's just an issue of tolerating it and saying, okay, I gotta do what I gotta do. Yes, it can be disturbing, especially if you're having a conversation like this, but they also have the right to just be outside and play, and excuse me, the baby can just cry, and you can't really do much as opposed to being in an office space. All right. So now this leads me to saying that, okay, so the bigger goal of what we want, or how we reimagine entrepreneurship on its own, is that even a concept of rebuilding or reshaping your business, you want to look at the fact that, okay, so fine, I've invested in a home, and my home is just next to someone's home, or whatever the case may be. Do I love that home? Do I want to continue staying in that home? If that's the case, what can I do to avoid the disturbance of me being in my office and there's just too much noise? Do I decide to go and buy a new land, or just be somewhere on my own and where there's peace? Or do I decide to what proof is it, to what is it called, like, for example, if you want to remove the sound that comes from outside, is it proofing the house? I forgot what that name is. I know that soundproofing, yeah, basically soundproofing, soundproofing, having to put, like, even with YouTube like this, one of the things that I wish to invest in is to really have the recording office or the recording space that I have, to have it covered, because there's still echo when I speak. As much as I use a mic, sometimes I feel like my mics are just always disappointing me. I can't wait to get that perfect mic that will do the things for me, But until then, we keep doing what we can. So, like I'm saying, you really imagine that, and you ask yourself, what do I do? Do I, soundproof my home, so that, or my home office, so that I don't have people making noise? Because if it means that, reimagining entrepreneurship, it means that you're no longer investing more on more expensive things, like having to pay an office space. The next day, only one or two people get to go to the office every week because of whatever reason. Or are you going to just say, okay, work in the comfort of your own home, and of course pay your team right, so that they can be able to just do whatever that they can, so that the space is comfortable and okay? So there could be many reasons. But now, overall, where I'm going with this is that the issue of, or the risks that we could find, and especially now I'm talking about, like, coincidentally, I just spoke about the fact that, if you are a business investing in an office space, that you have to pay electricity, everything, labor, whatever the cost, and then the next thing, it's just there, no one is going to work because there's a pandemic, or someone has COVID. What if, it could be many reasons. So if you decide, okay, if we apply the model of working from home, what are the risks that we are looking at, and all that? Now, the risks that you want to avoid, or that you want to focus on, is the issue of liquidity. The things that you need to take into account. Laquita says, the outside noise cannot be heard. Really? Okay, no. I'm glad. If you can't hear it, I'm glad. Hi, Vusi, King Vusi. Hello. King Vusi is watching from a Digital Boss, a Facebook page. Shout out to you, Mr. Vusi. Thank you so much. Now, what I'm saying is that the risk that you want to avoid is that liquidity, like, of your business. I mean, imagine if you had to lose your business and just close it up. Like, it could be a very daunting thing, and a very affecting thing, because you've built something, so you want to avoid the risk of losing it, and just like what's the word, liquidity, basically having your business being closed out, and it's like it never existed, just like that, because of the challenges that you go through. Now, another important point is what we call the cash flow of the business. I don't know how many businesses have really had an issue or a problem with the cash flow. It's like you can see that I'm running a business, but money is not coming in. I'm running a business, but there's no cash flow. Like nothing is working out, or even the cash that you've invested is not coming back. And when you think about entrepreneurship, there are entrepreneurs that are self-funded, and there are entrepreneurs that got to either borrow money or get funding, and funding with specific conditions and all of that. So it could be many things. So imagine if there's an issue of cash flow and you're at the risk of closing down. Already that is a problem. And another huge problem is debt. So imagine you have, let's say you're an event company or something like that. You have invested in equipment that you're gonna use for your business and everything. And the next thing, the president says that for the next 2 years, there won't be events happening and all of that. So what's gonna like bring back the money or the profit of whatever that you borrowed and everything? How are you gonna even pay it back, because you borrowed the money with the aim of knowing that when the business comes, you know that there's gonna be money that you put aside and then pay off whatever. Then what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen, right? So that is really those things that are just really a problem. And I personally can share with you how my entrepreneurship approach is in terms of in terms of scaling up and growing as a business. Do I need funding? Yes, I need funding for my business. I feel like I could use a lot of funding for my business, but now at the same time, I don't focus on I need funding. I need to be funded, or funding will be great for my business. But I focus on the fact that, okay, what can I do? Because I funded my own business, by the way. And we usually say that we started our business at zero. The truth is, you don't start your business at zero. And I think was something that I got to take note of after I've even done a video to say I've started my business at zero. You don't start your business at zero. The fact that you had to register your company, that is money on its own. The fact that you had to use resources to design company staff material, that is money on its own. So there is a bit of money that got invested. Now, it's self-funded by me personally with whatever income that I had from the other work that I was doing, and I was able to invest in the business. And now you're probably asking, I know this Booby brand, guys, can we just talk about how can we just talk about how matching I am with my Booby brand earrings? Like, I mean, so the fact that I got to take money from the other business to invest in another business, it was with the aim of obviously growing and building more businesses like I'm doing right now. So it means that I don't have one business, I've got multiple businesses, but that are supported by other business, like the main business, which is the boss. The boss business is IL Designs. I respect IL Designs because it makes things happen, and make sure that you support IL Designs because it makes things happen, guys. Like, it happens. I'll make sure that I leave all the links to all the businesses that I do on the comment section. So yeah, and I think I should actually do a video of how I got to do or to have multiple businesses. I think I should do that. So I was able to say, okay, seeing that IL Design is making a couple of money, how can I, grow another business? I mean, right now I own a printing machine, and that machine was sponsored by what? IL Designs. So meaning, and the whole point of doing that is for me to also be able to pay back that money to that business, because it's not just to help another business grow and then that's it and all of that. That money needs to come back and twice as much. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. It's not investing for no reason, but it's investing and making sure that I bring the money back to the main company or where I borrowed it. All right. So the safer thing is that I'm borrowing money from the business, from within the business, it's not outside. So even if there's a huge risk in terms of the business being a bit slow, because there was a time where I had to pause with Google Brand because things were just not coming around. But I didn't get to be so much affected because it's the business that is funded by the big boss, which is IL Designs, and it's one umbrella. You get my point. So that is an advice that I can give to also businesses to say, look into how you can avoid risks in terms of your business. All right. So I'm reaching the conclusion, and the conclusion that I want to come up with in this last 4 minutes is that the most ignored individuals or ignored important things when it comes to entrepreneurship, and that needs to be reimagined, is the importance of the client, the importance of the team, the importance of the culture of the business, and the commitment amongst all the business people. That is quite important, because if you have a client, or if you have a team that is not committed, a team that is not appreciated, and all of that, that could be a problem. Because when a crisis like this occurs, it's a question of how do you work as a team and fix things around, because you can't do it alone as the main entrepreneur in the business, and all of that. And still, even if you are alone in the business, you have clients. The clients that you have, that's your team, guys. The clients that you have is your team. Let me read the comment. Discussing having more than one business to invest into the other business makes sense. Young and older people need that info. I agree with you. Listen, it's gonna come. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. It's coming on the next series. Let's finish with the Youth Month series, and we're gonna make sure that we do that. All right. So now, even if you are running a business on your own, you have a team of clients that are supporting you, your customers. Those are your clients. You need to work together with them to make sure that, hey, you guys are on point, or you get to scale and grow together. So those are the people that you need to take into account. The culture that you build in a business should be in a way that it's helping, and it's making it easier for you guys to understand how you can look into growing and managing whatever crisis you might find yourself in as entrepreneurs. Now, last but not least, going digital. I can't stress this enough. Going digital is very important. I mean, like right now we are live on Digital Boss as well, which is a private Facebook group where we speak everything about digital. If you're interested, consider joining that Facebook page. Listen, I'm gonna link up everything today. Today you're gonna see all the links of whatever that I do. All right. I didn't talk a lot about entrepreneur puzzle, but it's fine. That's a topic for another day. But I'll link it up as well so that you can see what I'm doing. Now, going digital is important because everything now is digitalized. Knowing more about e-commerce, knowing more about how you can make money online is very important. And knowing the benefits of it is very important, because for you to grow, it doesn't matter the nature of your business. And I will repeat, it doesn't matter the nature of your business. Whatever business you have, if you can digitalize it, you will be sorted. You will be sorted. So make sure that you digitalize your business, you digitalize whatever work that you do. Make it known, make it seen by people. Build that online presence. It is very important. In that way, you will open yourself to really grow in your brand, and you will open yourself in terms of growing even globally to that, for that matter. That is quite important. That is quite important, because if you are just going to be focused on, physically connecting with clients or getting referrals, applying, traditional marketing only, it's not going to work. Like even right now, I mean, television is like traditional marketing, if you ask me. But You look at platforms like YouTube, and you look at how we as YouTubers, yes, we are YouTubers, us as content creators, you see how we have managed to really take this platform and really make it what make it to add so much value in business, or to help us grow our brands. Because you can have a platform like this, create your own TV, and you can build an audience that will buy into the service that you're offering. I mean, you can monetize your platform before it can actually be even monetized on YouTube. And I'm not gonna, touch on that actually first, on the monetization of YouTube, because I feel like it might make you want to relax a bit to say, oh, okay, I can just, have a YouTube channel and create content, build audience, and then whatnot, and make sure that I make money or whatever, and then that's it. That is not always the case, honey. That is not actually the case. The whole objective of you having this platform is to see other opportunities that are there. So now, reimagining entrepreneurship, on that note, reimagining entrepreneurship. Reimagining entrepreneurship, it's something that you need to also look into as to how can this benefit, me in terms of using this platform like YouTube to really make money, to really grow my brand. How can I do webinars like this webinar that we did? Here, like this webinar that we did right now. This is me connecting with a university that is a couple of kilometers away from me, but we were able to connect and actually make sure that this gets to be done. This gets to be done, and it's done. We were able to have that webinar. We were able to reach out, as opposed to then where I would have to obviously physically go there. So as much as I used up my data, but understand that I was able to really send the message across through my platform, or through through what Meet, Google, is it Google Meet? Yes, that, or Zoom, or whatever, and I'm able to reach people. And not only that, I'm able to actually reach more and more people. It's not just one person, and it can be more and more people, because that's an advantage. Because chances are, even if we're at that venue, maybe there could be a certain amount of people, but if it's online, everyone can access it. And even if it's online like that, it means that it's going to be there, it's saved up somewhere, and it can still be valuable for someone who's going to come later to watch it. So you see that reimagining this really means that things will never go back to the way they were before. I don't know if you agree with me, but in my opinion, things will never go back to the way they were before, because there's so much benefit in a digital space. So the conversation that we can have in a room about entrepreneurship is going to be known by you and I and whoever who's in the room. But anyone who is outside won't actually know about it, right? So if that's the case, it means that the information is just going to remain for those who got it, and that's it. If it's not recorded, then what's going to happen, And I'm not saying that we should focus a lot on saying, let's be comfortable then with how things are and all that. No, I'm not saying that, because it's still a factor, and it's still really a stressful thing for businesses that are trying to catch up. To adapt to that level, so that could be another, tiring thing or stressful thing. But you have people like us that can teach you about technology. You have people like us that can really help you to scale your business. You have people like us that are able to help you in terms of how you can build your brand online, how you can give yourself that online presence. Okay, so you have people like myself that can help you do that. um and Vusi just commented and said, and some of us abroad. Vusi, why aren't you not watching from YouTube? Because my supporter, how we do it. Why are you not watching from YouTube? Guys, I appreciate you on Facebook. I appreciate you for watching from Facebook, but guys, can you consider watching from YouTube? Because it helps with my watch time. It helps me so that I can scale up and really monetize this platform, which are the other benefits that are available in this online space. Digitalizing things. I mean, I actually said that we were going to do this for 30 minutes, but I feel the need to really speak about technology. So we're going to move it up to an hour. I hope that you're okay with hanging out for the last couple of minutes. It's going to be beneficial. I can promise you. Let's just do an hour and then we call it a wrap, okay? Because digital is very important and you need that. Trust me, you need it, you need it, you need it. As an entrepreneur, you need it. And I'm going to break it down as to how you can work around it and how you can really build your brand and making sure that you give it the I'm not saying the look, guys, the look of how a business or you as an entrepreneur or the look of your business or businesses, it's not important than what you are trying to achieve in business, what you are trying to accomplish in a business, or what you're trying to solve as a brand. Now, Bosi has said something important, and he said that the power of technology, or the power of having to go digital and digitalize things, is that we can reach out to people that are everywhere, even abroad. I mean, I've got Laquita, who is in Virginia. I've got Vosi, who is in Switzerland. So we think of people that you can reach from different places, but they can still have the same impact, and they can even offer so much value in terms of engaging with your content, engaging with what you're offering. So that could be very important. That could be something that is very, very important. Now, my advice to aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, hey Pindi, welcome Queen, good to see you. My advice to entrepreneurs, especially in terms of how they can reimagine entrepreneurship on its own, is to really think of how technology grows, and to think of how everything has its own time. And the most important thing is that adapting to new models of doing things is the most important things. Adapting to the fact that you can't just have a website. It's not just about having a website. You can't just say, oh, I have a website, I'm happy, it's all good, and whatnot. It's not just about having a website. It's a question of how is your website working? How is the website that you have benefiting your business? How is it benefiting your brand? How is it benefiting your your businesses as well? You get my point. So it's not just the website, and it's an issue of, is it functioning the way it's supposed to? Is it functioning the way it's supposed to? Or is just the website, just because you have about us, our services, contact us, that's it? What other value are you giving on your platform? What are you doing to give out value? Because you think of the fact that, oh, okay, I can just decide to give value to my clients by, giving them just what, I don't know, just a piece of advice on whatever that is happening in the business, or just discounting them on something, and then that's it. Or you focus on giving value to only your existing clients. And something about business is that you have to understand that you can't limit your marketing. You can't limit how you market yourself. You can't limit how you grow your business, because you will never know that putting that blog post. I mean, I was helping this other lady with her blog. So she was saying that, okay, there seems to be a problem. I'm busy with my blog, but I can't see the, it's not showing up and everything. So I needed to help her out with that. Now, what she was saying is that the frustration of not being able to do this, it doesn't even motivate me to continue. And right about that, I think I want to use that example and basically to say this, to say, the value that you can get from doing something and then you see it pay off, it's something super amazing. Because when you think of something like a blog, writing out the blog and about, me as a designer, or as a blog, maybe a title being how I create a logo, or the steps of creating a logo and everything like that. And someone who wants a logo, or someone who is thinking of having a company logo, for them to read that, it will give them an idea to say, oh, okay, you know what? I'm a business, I'm a kitchen, I have a construction company, I have a beauty company, and the idea is to have something like this, like that. But you start thinking of the nature of your business as to how that can be incorporated in the logo. Okay. So having said that, excuse me, my point is, when you bring out that value to even that someone who doesn't even know you, or who hasn't done business with you, are you aware that you are somehow offering value to a potential client who will even come to you and make things easy for you, because they already know what they want. You don't even need to further explain. You are saving time. The conversation that you and that person are going to have is, okay, hi, I saw a blog post on logo design, and I saw that you mentioned that, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you look for in designing a logo, or how you do it. So this is my concept. I am a beauty company, and I do hair, makeup, and all of that. So the idea that I have, I want something with, a pink color. I want something with this. I want something that represents a beauty of a woman, a queen type of thing. Already a person kind of knows what they want. And if they have like a slogan, you already have an idea of what they want. So it makes it easier even with your guys' conversation, because it's no longer going to be, okay, so what idea do you have? And they go like, actually, I don't have an idea. I know that I want a logo, but I don't have an idea. So already you have really saved time. So the conversation that you're going to have is, okay, so this is the price. I can start with it immediately, make the payment, and then it's done. Before you know it, the work is done, because you were able to make work easy for yourself and even your client. You get my point? Exactly that. All right. Adopting to new modules of doing things. It's important. It's important, Pindi. We need to really understand that things won't happen the same way. And my wish is that each and every person, not just entrepreneurs, each and every one thinking about how they got affected by a pandemic that happened in 2019. The history of it, because at some point it will be history. I want people to understand that a pandemic is not the only thing that will happen in this world that will somehow make you rethink or reimagine life, in business, personally and whatnot. There are still more things that are going to happen, but learning to adapt to change, to new ways of doing things is very important. And managing every situation, knowing how to manage a situation is something that is quite important, because there are a lot of people that are not able to cope during a crisis. Unfortunately, we have those people. It's a similar thing with people that cannot multitask. There's someone who can easily multitask and do things all at once. I mean, today I was able to multitask and do a video here and be online at the same time. But obviously, it somehow affected me, because towards the end, I was here and then I was called there. The volume was muted and it was a little bit, but I was able to jump in quickly. But there's someone who cannot do that. They lose focus if they have to concentrate on two things all at once. It's like that. Not everyone can do that. But now, having said all of that, guys, it's really important to learn to adapt. And entrepreneurship or business on its own, when you think about it, and this is another point that one guy spoke about, and that was Sanel. Sanel mentioned that business is not just about passion, or being an entrepreneur is not about passion. It has to do a lot with what are you solving. So Sanele, as you can see, this guy over, you can see his name, the one with the suit. That was the one who was speaking on passion, on the part of passion, to say it's not just about passion. You've got to be willing to make work, and there has to be something that you're solving. So it's not just about being passionate about something. It's all about, okay, how how is work supposed to be done? How are ideas have to, like, how are you going to execute, how are you going to manage everything, and how are you going to change things for the better for your company, looking at whatever crisis that you might find yourself in. So it's just an issue of that question. And I remember I also pointed out the fact that at some point when I had my business, already this was a crisis. It was not COVID and everything, but it was a crisis for me, because I was at a stage where it's like, can I really continue with this business? I have an 8 to 5 and everything. Can I continue running my business and making it work? I had a crisis of losing clients. That was a crisis on its own. I was losing clients. I had a crisis on not delivering on time at some point, and that was a crisis on its own, because it means that my clients were losing trust on me, and they were not going to be happy with all of that. So it's a question of, okay, what do I do? And then the next point, the crisis of deciding whether to stay working for someone else and leaving my company. It was a crisis on its own, having to think of that. And I was like, no ways. No ways. I would rather take off my wig, man. I would rather take off my wig. I would rather take it off than to leave my business. You get my point. Because this is an empire that I'm building. Ach my hare, alsjeblieft. Ach my hare. Because this is a brand that I am building, and a brand that building an empire. My kids will have to benefit. Ooh, booby brand earrings, guys. Like, I mean, So what I mean is that my kids, the future generation will have to benefit from this. Students that looking for jobs, they should benefit at some point. I should make a difference to other people, in terms of helping them put food on the table, helping them to reach their dreams, because that's my purpose, right there. So I had to think about that. I'm like, there is no way. There is no way I can leave my company. So I had to think about it, and I did what? I came and decided to work full time. And did it not show me flames? Is it not showing me flames? I am still seeing flames today. But is it good flames? The flames are just amazing, because the process itself, it teaches you a lot, and it makes you stronger and stronger, and it makes you wiser and wiser as you go. And I must say, I'm proud of decisions that I took on my business, on doing certain things, and I'm proud to say that I got to be patient with myself enough to say, I'm building a brand, and the way I'm building a brand, I'm not going to be chasing Pindile's pace, or chasing Laquita's pace, or Vusa's pace, or Lerato's pace. I'm going to be focusing on my own pace and really working on the pace that I can actually work with, not someone else's pace. Because if you're going to chase someone else's pace, then that's where you're going to have a problem. And the problem that you're going to have is that you're going to get stuck along the way. You're going to get stuck. And when you get stuck, no one's going to be there to rescue you, because you're competing with someone whose pace is on another level. By the time you get stuck, they are already back. So rather work on yourself, work on your brand, so that even years from now, you can tell that story. I mean, I think of the late Dr. Maponya, who owns Maponya Mall. Well, he passed away, I think, sometime last year, if I'm not mistaken. But you think of how he had a dream of building a mall within that township, and people were thinking, nah, how is that going to happen? How are you going to achieve that? And the mall is amazing. It's a beautiful mall. And old as he was, that obviously was an idea that he came up with throughout his journey of life. And it's the same thing as whatever business you have. Whatever the trials that you come across, those trials, they build up to helping you get to the level that you want. And by the time you are at that level, it will look like, yes, like Ntabi invested so much money and all of that, but it will be an issue of really learning so much from the process that you have been in. The process itself has to be the one that gets you to another level. All right. So honestly, reimagine entrepreneurship with an eye of not being stagnant, but always improving, always adapting to new things, always considering the people that are bringing in the profit, or bringing in money to the business, or really supporting your business, because that is how we need to look at it. And also the patience of understanding that as much as you wish things could happen the way you want, they won't. There'll just be hiccups, but the hiccups don't mean that that is the end. There's just so much more that is still going to happen. Yes, working with each other globally used to be something that big business had access to. Now we ask, and we can do transactions thanks to technology. Most definitely. I mean, it was quite difficult, or it was just a behind thought at some point. But look at us now. We are making things happen, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And recently I interacted with a company that has multiple branches across the world, and I was excited. I was like, you know what? This is the kind of environment that I would, want to engage with. I would like to even do work for, because I know that I even get to have bigger experience as to how other countries are doing things and all of that. And the fact that I had the privilege of working for a tourism industry, I got to work with people from different places. Like you think of Namibia, you think of not Nigeria, Namibia, Mozambique. I worked with Kenya, Uganda. So it's like it's a lot, and it was quite beautiful. I must say, it was quite beautiful. Hey. I would rather take off my wig. I would rather take off my wig. Like, I would rather than to just leave IL designs. No, I would rather, man. I would rather, man. I would rather take off my wig. I would rather than to stop my business, the legacy that I'm building for my children. I would rather. Mm-mm. Here I am. I've taken it off. I've taken it off. If it means that I lose it, and if they say you're gonna lose your business if you don't take off your wig, here I am. Here I am. Not so. Yes. Yeah. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. That's how we do it. I would rather, man. So yeah, guys. So that is it basically. That is it. I hope that you took out something from this video. I actually enjoyed doing this because I felt like during the conversation that I had with TUT, I feel like the question of reimagining entrepreneurship, we didn't really like what answer it completely. So I really had to talk about it so that I can ease myself. And I'm hoping that, it will reach as much, like a lot of people that really are wondering, like, what's next? What am I going to do? How am I going to do things? What now? The question that says, what now? What do I do now? What's going to happen next? Because that's what we have in mind, like, what's going to happen next? Hmm? Yeah, I would rather. I would rather, man, Leonard. Mm, Just like I would rather. Thank you so much. I would rather, guys. Like I would rather, in all honesty. But yeah, thank you so much, beautiful people. I love and appreciate you, and I wish you guys nothing but the best in your businesses. This entrepreneurship life is not easy. It's hard. It's hard. Is stressful. You feel like things are just slow, but you know what? We gotta keep going, and we gotta keep adapting. We gotta keep learning, and we gotta keep seeing what best we can do to really be at a level that we wish to be. All right. So with that said, I think we can end it here. If you reach this level, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, I mean, the fact that you're still here, you gotta subscribe, honey. Just subscribe. Just subscribe, and I promise you, it's lovely, it's fun. You're gonna enjoy it. Whatever content that I share here is really to impact you. And yes, we are still on the Youth Month series. We are on the 24th of June. If it's any other day, it's still fine. You will catch up with the series. But this Youth Month, we're really trying to engage on conversations that will empower, the youth and oopsie, to really help you see life with a different eye and see how you can just become the best in whatever that you aim to do. Because wow, there's just so much more that we can achieve by learning, by growing, by speaking about topics that can change our lives. So with that said, I just, spit coffee on my dress. I'm sad. But anyway, I think it's just a sign. It's a sign to say we have reached the end of this video. And with my lovely coach, I would like to say that I have seen what hard work can do, and I know what more it can and will do. And this is not because I feel like we need to just keep working hard, but this is because there is value, there is results. There are results from putting in the work. There are results in working on your craft and doing your best. So I wish that you can do your best and really know that the results will come. The more you put in effort, the more the results will come. Your breakthrough will come. Don't be set back by the pandemic. Just always see how you can better what you're doing, because you need the skill, you need to have techniques, you need to have new ideas all the time. You can't just rely on just one business idea or model. That's why I don't even believe in doing what a business proposal and everything, because they change each and every time. They change each and every time. The business that you have, or the idea that you had before, is different from now, just after the pandemic, because I can imagine things are just now different. All right, with that said, thank you so much. Please subscribe, like this video, share it with someone, comment, share some love, and all the best with your business. Love you always. Cheers.